Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talks. Hope everybody's having a great day. Got a great video for you guys to kick off your weekend. I really think this is going to be important. Today, I kind of want to talk a little bit about essentially what happened in the precious metals market, both gold and silver, on Friday. But I also want to talk about the combination of two questions that came up that I think are really important right now as we're seeing us get into a point where I think we could really see gold and silver escalate in value pretty rapidly, actually. And I think it's important that we talk about this too, because there's a lot of people that are sitting on essentially more liquidity, I guess you can say, that would give you an opportunity to maybe trade and pick up a whole lot more value. This may not be for everybody. It is based off a couple of questions, one of them being someone had a complete set of Morgan dollars and they were wondering my thoughts on switching them out, or would they be better off just keeping the Morgan dollars to use for barter. So I really wanted to talk about that question for Richard. And then I also wanted to talk about another question that had came up via email about someone wanting to, they were ready to pull the trigger and they wanted to buy a tube of 1/10 ounce silver coins. 1/10 ounce. And this is a fairly, I'm going to say a fairly newer stacker based on his stack size. And I think it's important that we discuss that, because I don't want to see anybody get in a position where they're kind of planning for the end of the world. They're planning for a huge barter scenario, and then all of a sudden nothing major happens, but silver does go up drastically, and now they're sitting on those little 1/10 ounce rounds, and maybe they won't get quite as much money for them. What could they do as an alternative that kind of fulfills both of these? And it kind of ties in nicely with the other question. So with that being said, real quick, if you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out more than you know. Also, if you would, please, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Leave me your thoughts on anything we talk about today. Did I spend too much time already on that? No, it's only been 2 minutes. Okay, I was about ready to reset the video because I was like, I don't know if I spent too much time on just an intro. But only 2 minutes is okay. So please hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out more than you know. And with that being said, let's jump in real quick and let's talk a little bit about what we've seen in today's silver market that I think is very important that we talk about. So right off the bat, I did an emergency video this morning, and I was really shocked how many people had caught that. It was actually about an hour early. A lot of people commented, hey, you're early this morning, but it was not the video for the morning. The video for the morning actually was where I talked about the EU wanting to essentially take people's savings accounts. And it was a great video, so if you haven't seen it, definitely go and check that video out. But I ended up posting that right around 5 a.m. And what happened at 5 a.m., we had silver actually dip slightly below $33. Now, when you look at what it's trading up now, it's trading right on $33. However, we were slightly below that. As you can see, the green line was Friday. And I found it interesting. We hit $33. We broke through it just a little bit, and that put us right around the previous dip that we had seen. And I ended up putting in a rather large order that a lot of you will see once I get it. I will do a package opening. And then, unfortunately, because at that point I was up over 24 hours, I ended up going to bed. And by the time I woke up, this had already happened. This huge drop to 32.60. And then we've seen it climb back up, and now we're back at 33. Now, here's the thing that I'm really thinking. Because we've seen this, we've already talked about the dip that I believe we're going to see. And we're already seeing it form up at the perfect time, I believe, because when is the ultimate dips always happen? They always happen at the end of the financial quarter. And I really think that we are... we're only a week away now. I mean, the trading at the end of the financial quarter is pretty much has to be done Friday, I think I would say, because that's 7, 8, 9, depending on how many months are in this month. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. So they might have Monday, actually. But I really think that they're setting up. We've seen it go lower and then pop back up as we went into the weekend. Markets are closed now. I would not be surprised to see another dip on Sunday night. I can't picture the price hanging at these levels for too long because a lot of people are buying up. Essentially, pretend like I'm going to use, instead of silver, I'm going to use a shoe store. Pretend a shoe store has, thousands and thousands of pairs of shoes, and all of a sudden they decide they're going to sell these shoes at a cheaper price than it actually costs to make them. And what would happen naturally, everybody is going to start buying up the shoes. People are going to want them. It's a good deal. People are going to buy them up, but they keep pushing the price, trying to push the price down lower and lower and lower to maybe convince people psychologically that it has no value. But what's happening is a lot of the silver is getting bought up, and it's getting bought up a small amount by stackers like us. But on top of that, big countries are buying up this amount of silver. Now, a lot of people think this manipulation can go on forever, that they can just keep beating the price down at the end of every financial quarter. Eventually, they're not going to have the silver to be able to do that, because if people keep taking custody, eventually all the shoes are going to be gone in the shoe store. And then it doesn't really matter if you say the shoes are $1 a pair, because there's none there to sell. So clearly, supply and demand is supposed to be what sets prices of everything. And when you have as much manipulation as we're seeing with silver right now, it kind of takes out the supply and demand effect. So it's an awesome opportunity to pick up stuff. Like I said, I wished I had picked up at that 30 cents lower than I picked it up at. However, I'm super happy that I got my order in. If prices stay low for too long, we'll see what happens, but I'm not convinced they will. I expect the first week of next month we will see gold and silver pop, really, and surprise people. What I found most interesting, though, is look at this. When silver started coming down earlier in the night, remember, my order went in at 5 after silver had already tanked 1.5%. That means gold was sitting right here at that point, roughly. And we hadn't even seen any amount of drop on gold, which really makes me think gold is solid. And then all of a sudden, at one point in the morning, the market opens, and we just seen this straight shot down. To me, this is manipulation because, look, it instantly started climbing right back up, and I expect we're going to see this go higher. The fact that it's $3,023 is a great buying opportunity, in my opinion, still for gold. However, I think the true magic, and I know 60% of the subscribers are not going to want to hear this, is going to be with silver. We're going to see bigger returns. More people can afford it. More people can afford to pay a higher premium, because even when gold goes up to $4,000, $5,000, how many people are going to want to shell out that kind of money and then a premium on top of it? But when gold goes up to $50, $60, $70, people will still shell out a premium because it's still in their affordable phase. I actually had a chance to pick up a 1-ounce gold kangaroo today. Somebody had it for, it was actually at a pawn shop. They had it for $3,100. And when I tried getting it, they refused to budge. And I'm talking, I said, at first I said, how about if I pay you cash for it? And I'll give you $3,050. They said no. They didn't care whether I paid with a credit card or cash. So that kind of blew my mind, and it kind of irked me a little bit, and I decided not to buy it. Now, I might regret that, not paying the $3,100 even. But like I've said, I still think silver is a better buy. There was something about it. It was right there in my presence. I was going to go to my bank real quick, grab the cash out, and come back and get it. But they wouldn't budge, and if someone doesn't budge or doesn't negotiate, I really don't want to deal with them a whole lot. So I think gold and silver is going to go a lot higher. I think this was a great demonstration of the manipulation with silver because, like I said, you take these two charts, you look at them side by side. If you could, we had already seen it start coming down, whereas we didn't see gold start coming down until this big move right here. So we'll see how that plays out. Real quick, I want to do a quick recap, and then I want to jump into what I wanted to talk about the Carson City Morgan dollars and some really cool coins. Taking a look at the DXY, it did climb just a little bit. We got up to 104.15. We kind of inched up a little bit today, so I think that's I'm happy. I'd like to see the dollar continue to climb in value. Obviously, if the dollar climbs in value, that does push gold and silver down a little bit. But here's the thing. People are seeing through this. They understand now that the DXY, yes, it plays a part of the price of gold, but at the end of the day, gold and silver is king, and more people are wanting to put their money to it. So we'll see how that plays out in the near future. Taking a quick look at Bitcoin, we got Bitcoin right now at 84,433, up 273 points. So we did see it climb a little bit, which I also find kind of comical on a day that we've seen gold and silver come down. We've seen Bitcoin go up, because let's be honest, Bitcoin and gold and silver, in a lot of people's eyes, and not mine, but it has similar properties. And so when you see one go down and one go up, that clearly states they don't have the same properties, in my opinion. Moving on real quick, we even seen the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the S&P all go up a little bit today, with the Dow Jones going up 34 points. Not anything that I am like, ooh, wow, hey, we made 92 points on the NASDAQ. S&P 500 went up 5 points. I mean, these are minor things, in my opinion. They're so small, they're a blip on the screen, because we know how quick this can get washed away in a blink of an eye. And so we'll see how that plays out in the near time being. Obviously, all eyes are right now on the debt. More talks right now about them raising the budget and the debt ceiling. They're talking by another $4 trillion. Let's be honest, this is unsustainable. We know this. They're going to keep printing it. And most likely now it looks like they're going to come up with a plan to devalue the dollar, as we talked about on here. It's in their best interest because, quite frankly, they can pay off their bill, and they're the largest bill holder. So we'll see how this plays out. Moving in now to a message that I had real quick. I'm going to read the comment to you guys just kind of briefly. I would like to get your opinion on something. If you had a Morgan dollar collection, would you cash them in and get regular bullion? Would you keep them? If SHTF, that means blank hit the fan, would it be harder to get their value, or would you use it to barter? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Again, thanks again. Keep up the great videos. So first of all, thank you so much, Richard, for the great comment. I really do appreciate that. So I pulled up a couple pictures so you guys could kind of look at this while we're discussing collectible coins. Collectible coins are great. They are obviously, in a lot of cases, they are made of gold. They are made of silver. And in this case, we're talking a collection of Morgans. You've got Carson Cities. You've got a lot of great coins there. And when money is flowing and things are going good, everybody loves collectibles. I mean, literally, they're high-end. People all want to be the one to hold the limited, the rarest coin out there, to be able to say, I own one of those, and kind of brag and flaunt it. And that's always going to be cool. I'll be honest, I have some really nice coins that are pretty limited, but lately I have been trying to trade them off because essentially I'd rather have more ounces. I mean, when you look at the direction that stuff is going right now, if things continue to happen that debase the money in America and in every other country in the world, really, a lot of collectibles, people will start having a hard time. Things are going to go up, and people think collectibles will go up just because everything goes up. And in my opinion, that's not always the case. In fact, when I look back at my personal memories, I remember during the great housing crisis, a lot of people were selling collectible stuff. Now, no, I was not big into coins back then because I did not get to experience the big 2011 skyrocketing price. Do I remember it happening? Yes, only because I had a 2-ounce gold necklace from the Middle East that was pure gold, and I had someone want to buy it off me. And so obviously I noticed, hey, gold is $2,000 an ounce in 2011 roughly. But I was not in it to really enjoy the gains. The next one I'm going to be ready for, and I like you, will be enjoying these huge gains and the excitement of knowing that we made the right choice. But what I have also seen during that time period is a lot of people dumping collectibles. Now, like I said, I was not into coin collectibles, but I was big into comic books. I was big into Hot Wheels. I was big into die-cast cars. I was big into a lot of different collectibles that really got dumped. People needed the money, and essentially collectibles came up secondary. Now, gold and silver coins that are collectibles, like Carson City Morgan dollars or maybe limited edition gold coins from the old days, yes, they're going to go up in value because gold and silver is going to go up in value. However, you have to ask yourself, will they really go up in value? If you have a Morgan dollar, Carson City, and it's worth high dollar now, we'll just pretend it's worth $1,000. And let's say silver just really goes crazy and explodes. And silver goes up, because the economy is so bad, silver goes up to some crazy number like $600 or $700. And I know some people think that's not possible. We've done videos and talked about that, but this is not the video to argue and make those claims. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if silver skyrockets, a lot of people are just going to be trying to get their hands on silver. They're not going to necessarily be trying to get rare collectible coins. Maybe even coins like Flying Eagles, the first year. I can't remember what year, if it was 1886. No, because that says 1858. So it must have been 1856. But, coins like that, are people really going to be striving to get them when times are tough? Because keep in mind, stock market could be falling. The economy could be falling. You might need something to barter. People are not going to worry about what is on the coin. They're just going to worry about the silver and gold. And so that's why it's a huge factor, in my opinion. If it was me personally, I would want to trade the good stuff to be able to get more generic stuff. When you take a look at some limited edition silver Morgan and you have an opportunity to trade it for 20, 30, 40 ounces of silver, which one do you think will go further down the road? Now, real quick, is there opportunity to buy bullion and get lucky and get stuff in it that's borderline collectible? So one of the things that I've always kind of liked, especially, I didn't know this at first, but I liked junk silver. I liked junk silver until I had one bad accident with it, and it costed me so dearly. I was negative on it for a while. But then I was lucky when one subscriber told me, never keep your junk silver in bank rolls that are made out of paper, kind of like this one that says SD Bullion, but that just says quarters. So needless to say, that there was a mistake that happened that kind of turned me on it for a while, and then I ended up going back to it because ultimately junk silver like this, it has a lot of value. It is silver. You can find rare years. I ended up picking up a huge amount of Mercury dimes, and I'm actually filling out a book right now. And once I get the book complete, or complete minus the one, someone will have to correct me, 1917 maybe, silver dime, whatever year it is. That's just a high-end Mercury dime. I expect I'll trade that book off and maybe even get, 2 dimes for every 1 dime. Let's say the book has 50 dimes in it. If I have an opportunity to trade it and get, 100 dimes or 75 dimes, and ultimately I got more silver. Because at the end of the day, how big your stack is in ounces that matter. And if you can find stuff in this stuff that's good, great. You're probably not going to find it if you're buying it from a company like SD Bullion. You're probably not going to find some rare dime in there because a lot of these companies look through it. They get it from big-time collectors that buy it, look through it, and then toss it back in, and then it comes in one of these bags like this, and then they keep getting sent to people as people keep cherry picking stuff. Can you find some decent stuff? Yes, you can. But what I really like too about this stuff is it is barter silver. If an SHTF situation hit the fan, you can expect that you could trade this stuff. Maybe a dime for a loaf of bread, maybe a silver quarter for a gallon of gas, maybe a $50 for a nice couple of pounds of steak or deer meat or beef, something good that your family needs. And, a lot of people think, oh, well, why not just use paper to pay for it? The problem is when the currency, paper money, is losing value so fast, in most situations, people would rather barter and get something that will hold its value. Because if they take your paper dollars and they're losing value too fast, then they're going to want to hurry up and go spend them as quick as they can. And in some cases, people just want to save a little money. And here's the thing. When something like that happens, a lot of people are never prepared. And so if they're not prepared, they're going to wish they had been prepared. And that's when they're going to start preparing. I did a video yesterday talking about the EU wanting to take your unused savings accounts. And I had mentioned, first of all, there's no such thing as an unused savings account. If it's a savings account, you're saving it for down the road. But it was interesting in the article because they were targeting EU savings accounts, essentially. They wanted savings accounts over there. And, someone had said, could that happen in America? No, they don't want American savings accounts because the average American doesn't have a savings account. We have debt. And a lot of that is because we have experienced good times for so long. We have this belief here in the United States that things can't get bad until they do. And once they do, then people are going to want to save money. They're probably going to want to save fiat dollars. And then when people that had fiat dollars and are seeing it get watered down and debased, then they're going to want to move into precious metals. But I expect to see precious metals really start to climb in value. Another reason, because if the EU does launch this plan, a lot of people are going to be quick to want to spend their savings account. And even if they have to spend it on, I'll say, tracked spending, I guess you could say, I think they're still going to try to find ways to buy gold and silver. It may not be in the form of bullion. It could be in the form of a nice ring, a nice set of earrings, a nice gold necklace. At the end of the day, gold is gold and silver is gold. It doesn't matter what's on it. It doesn't matter who's on it. If you don't like, hypothetically, if you don't like Trump, it's okay. It's a silver coin. If you don't like Obama, I ended up picking up Obama coins that were 1 ounce silver rounds, and I actually picked them up because I liked the box that they were in. And it was kind of funny. They came in a nice cherry wood box with a nice little piece of glass over the top, and then the Obama coin was inside. And someone's like, why are you buying so many Obama coins? I think secretly you really like them. I said, I want the boxes. I want the boxes. And the coins I ended up selling off to someone that did like them, and he didn't know much about silver, but he liked that president, and so he ended up buying all the coins. He wanted them. And so, you got to understand, it doesn't matter what's on the coin. They have value because it's gold, because it's silver. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have old coins from the German Empire. I don't want to use the other word because I don't want to get hit. But, and maybe they've got symbols on there that you don't agree with, and most people don't agree with. It doesn't change the fact that that coin can be melted down and turned into an American silver eagle or a Benjamin dime or whatever the case may be. Although they're probably not going to turn them into Benjamin dimes because none of this type of stuff is getting made anymore. That's why a lot of people like it, because there's only so much of it out there, and it is disappearing faster and faster than you think. Now, that to me is not a argument to want to pay some high premium for it. But what is an argument to think about is when you have 1/10 ounce silver coins that they're selling for $7, $6 or $7 for a tenth of an ounce. That's $60 or $70 an ounce for something that, yeah, it takes 10 of them to equal an ounce, but with dimes, it takes 14 of them to equal an ounce. And you can get them for a fraction of the price. You know, so that's why I would rather have the cheaper option. Now, some people say, well, then you're going to have a pretty ugly stack if your stack is just made up of nothing but cheap junk. You know what? You can call silver whatever you want, those naysayers out there that say stuff like that. But at the end of the day, silver is silver. Gold is gold. It doesn't matter what it's turned into. It only matters that you hold it, and when things hit the fan, even the crappiest gold and the crappiest silver is going to be something that people will want. And the price will continue to go up as more and more people want it. The question is, will you have it or will somebody else? And that's why it's important that you start stacking today. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out more than you know. Be sure and check out some of these other great videos. And if you didn't hear about the EU plan, this was a great video to watch. If you didn't hear about the message to pick up cheap silver, I do end up, when I see crazy pullbacks or something crazy, I always do a little quick extra video. And you'll know it because most of my videos usually run between 20 and 30 minutes. So if you see something like this that was 4 minutes, I couldn't get it in a 1 minute short. I probably could have, but I didn't. But check out all these other great videos. And a special thank you to all of our members of the channel. We will be doing our giveaway pretty soon, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I guess it's not really a giveaway. It is our members event, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm hoping I get a specific package in time so I can let the winner of the giveaway decide what coin they want, because I got some amazing coins coming in, as I did put in a huge order. And part of the deal was there was a bunch of good stuff in there, and then there was some bullion stuff in there. Although some people might say it doesn't matter. If it says Superman, if it says Darth Vader, it's all bullion. You know, that's an opinion. But I think it's going to be great. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. Help me out. And thank you all for watching. I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. And have a great weekend. It's going to be an awesome weekend. It's going to be exciting next week, and then the week after that, we can get ready to start moving higher, and you can take that to the bank. I really think we're going to continue to move to the next level come the beginning of next month. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.